Welcome back to the Already Dated podcast, and today you're getting our exclusive take on PC and console exclusive games.
Yes, the console exclusive take on
Yes.
console and PC games. The freaking exclusive thing Microsoft always did at their E3s and stuff.
Yes.
Trying to big up something when they don't actually have anything there. Exclusive!
Yeah, it's like Microsoft and Sony always trying to big each other up, but Sony has always beaten the hell out of Microsoft.
I just know this is like 5 seconds in and we're already trashing Xbox. Is that like a record for these? If anyone's doing a drinking game of when will they make fun of Xbox, you already lost.
You guys will be wasted by the end of this one.
Oh my god, yes, because so
shot
console and PC exclusives, there'll be a bit of a trend going through it.
So, just a challenge, take a shot every time we rag on Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
For the
In
rest of
general,
this
it
episode.
works, but for this one as well, yeah.
Yes. Alright, so just a TLDR, throw it out there, that a lot of games are more or less not very exclusive anymore. It's mostly between the consoles, but most games that are on PC now have been ported to console, and console games have been ported over to PC.
Mm-hmm.
So the exclusivity of games has kind of dwindled over the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, exclusivity, it used to mean a hell of a lot when gaming first launched, but I mean even movies would do the same thing. It wasn't until
Oh yeah.
a specific law was enacted where you can't, like, there used to be a point where cinemas, it was you can only see this movie at this cinema, and then they
Yeah.
passed a law because that was anti-competitive.
Yeah.
Video games, they kind of never got to that point. It was more a case of, if you want to play a Mario game, you get Nintendo. If you want to play a Sonic game, you get a Genesis.
Like Mario, and speaking on exclusive, the consoles that have exclusive games, Nintendo, have always been very protective of their IPs. And
Yes.
they are one of the few companies that still have their exclusive just to Nintendo. Because unless you get a bit of an emulator on your computer and play Mario that way.
You stumble upon an emulator and some ROMs somehow, and then oh no, you launch it accidentally.
Oh no! Don't look in the description for a link to an emulator and the emulator.
Oh, don't
ROM
tell
site.
them that. You wouldn't download a car, would you?
No. Would you download a car and drive it?
It's Nintendo, out of any of them, is still the most draconian. You make fan games for us, we're going to shut them down. You want to play our games anywhere else, you better not. You better, if you want to play Mario 64, you better play it on the N64,
Although,
or hope you
If
got
you-
that limited edition. Also,
unless you make a complete copy-pasted fan game called The Great Gianna Sisters, that apparently is okay. Many years after it got pulled back, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll release it for the 3DS."
yeah,
Or
why
the
not?
DS, rather.
Hey, another
One-
content slop to put on the eShop, why not?
Hey, yeah, make money.
So the exclusives, they especially meant a lot more because when you'd want a specific game, you'd have to get that console or vice versa.
It was mostly that for between PlayStation and Xbox. Which one did you want for the exclusives?
Yeah, in the 90s, it was more PlayStation and Nintendo. So the
Yeah.
PS1 and N64. Did you want Metal Gear? You get the PS1. Did you want Mario 64? You get an N64. Usually it was like a gang warfare type of thing, which then evolved into the console wars, the great console wars, where many lives were lost. That
Yes.
it was an either or. No one ever really owned both because they cost a lot back then,
Yeah.
and especially then going into the second generation of like the PS2 and the original Xbox and GameCube, it was again a choice of exclusives.
Yeah, for me, like, the only time I've ever had both consoles was PS2 and the Xbox Classic.
Yeah,
That's the only time I've ever owned both. After, like, I never got another Xbox after that.
For the same generation, I had the GameCube and a PS2. So
I never owned a GameCube, sadly.
it's pretty nutty. They somehow made a cube that could play games. It's like crazy. And it had a handle on it so you could carry it with you.
You could carry it like a lunchbox.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a lunchbox. The GameCube was really great. I never have owned an Xbox thing, which makes me feel especially good for how much I crap on it, because I've never even given it a chance. But I saw how Windows 8 looked, and they modeled the Xbox One user interface after Windows 8's user interface, and that was enough for me to never give it a chance again. Because Windows 8's user interface is like the worst interface I've ever seen, where it was just all boxes. I would
rather have Windows 98.
Yes. Windows 98 is at least pretty simple. It's like you can figure out where everything is, but this was just boxes.
Windows 98 was the first user interface that I ever used on a PC. And this was back when I had a 28K modem. Not 56K, 28K modem.
You had a modem? Jeez, look at Mr. Rich
and
Boy
then
over here.
We upgraded to like 128, like IDB, whatever it was called, and then it was like that was right past dial-up, so you could be on the phone and be on the internet at the same time.
What?
Because I remember we had dial-up. We had dial-up for like 6 months, and every time my mom wanted to call her friends, like, "Honey, can you get off the interwebs?" So like, oh my god, fine, I'll go play PlayStation or something. But I digress.
With the exclusives, as the point that you made, it used to have a lot more weight on which console you would buy, but with how the industry has been changing, especially with Microsoft, the one lone credit we'll give them is that they did manage to really just merge the two together in opening up PC as an option.
Yes. Because and this is the phrase I'll probably use more than once in the PC and all the games getting ported to PC, is like PC is Rome and the consoles all have roads that lead to it.
Yes, exactly. That for years PC was always seen as like a weirdly lesser thing, which I know because I used to think the same thing. That it was like, you don't play games on PC, you make Excel spreadsheets or PowerPoint on a PC. Or the only game you can play is the Windows Pinball game or Solitaire.
That was a really good game, by the way. Windows Pinball.
Windows Pinball was great. It was either those or strategy games, and that was the PC thing.
Windows Pinball on Windows 03, I believe it was great.
The one that's all purple.
Yeah, I remember playing it on a brick-ass laptop that was like 11 inches or something like that. It was like playing it on an iPad with a fucking keyboard.
It really came to a point where PC was seen as just like a weirdo strategy space sim machine. And then Microsoft finally, they decided that, hey, the PC doesn't encroach on these other markets. It has no effect on them.
Yeah, because they still get, the other developers still get money for selling their games on PC platforms.
Yeah, Sony and Microsoft can have their console war, and PC, it doesn't take part in it. You benefit either way. You can play your Halos or you can play your God of Wars on it.
Yes, both parties benefit from being on PC, basically.
And you especially benefit because... Have I turned into the PC Master Race person I used to hate?
No.
One of the best benefits is Steam, because Steam has a really good account system where your game is just in it wherever, and whether it's on your computer or if you get a portable thing like a Steam Deck, your same games are all there with the save data put into it and everything, and you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah. Big up on cloud saves.
Yeah, whereas with other companies like Nintendo, you have to pay for cloud saves and you can't transfer your games over. Or Nintendo.
Thanks, Nintendo.
They never know what they're doing with their account system. But
they make good games, but other than that,
which is one of the reasons why Nintendo is one of the most frustrating ones when it comes to exclusives, because you can only get it on theirs. Their exclusives, as you were saying, are locked down tight.
Yep.
Like, you're never gonna see a Mario game come to Steam.
No.
I would hope so, because as Microsoft pointed out, PC doesn't take part in it.
Yeah.
All you get is more revenue. You don't lose revenue from it.
Because Microsoft doesn't get anything from you selling your games on Steam.
Yeah.
Only Steam gets a margin of what you sell on Steam, basically.
30% cut, I believe.
Yeah, because they're hosting the game to be bought, basically.
Yeah. And with the point I was making earlier, that to some extent still now, but especially before Microsoft opened up the PC, it was really just seen as like a strategy game machine, because strategy games, you couldn't really port them over to console. They've tried for years.
And they mostly remain on the PC. There is a few that they have on a console.
Because trying to bring a keyboard and mouse heavy control scheme to a controller was just it never worked. No matter what they tried.
A lot of like a game like StarCraft 2 is based on APM, basically actions per minute.
Yeah.
And how many actions per minute can you do with a controller compared to a mouse?
Yeah.
Very specific actions, anyways.
Which with the examples of strategy games that you put here, you already mentioned StarCraft. There's the one you love the most, Warcraft 3.
Yes. Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne expansion, real good.
Not the remake that came out, which was fantastic.
Go and watch the remake episode if you want to hear my exclusive thought on that. Not really exclusive. It's
exclusive.
I'm the voice of reason for the entire world there. I'm pretty sure I speak for everyone.
Yeah, pretty much. Then Age of Empires was another one, and then if you want to get into like the MOBA examples,
it's like League is PC only. Dota 2 PC only. Heroes of the Storm, they did not port that over. But I'm sure you could make MOBAs on controller. Like
you can. They've tried. Like I remember there was a Lord of the Rings MOBA that was on console specifically, and it died.
But again, it's because of how many mouse movements you have to make in MOBAs as well, and doing that with an analog stick and then having to press like a trigger button to move and stuff like that is a little bit wonky.
It's pretty much strategy games or MMOs like World of Warcraft or any of the copies of World of Warcraft.
I tried World of Warcraft in one of the more recent expansions and used a controller port in there, because there's an add-on you can use to port controller inputs there. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
People who say it works are lying. If you're leveling, maybe, when you have no skills, but when you have like 25 skills that you have to cycle between, and then you have to like left trigger, circle, left trigger, whatever, it's like no.
Same thing when I was playing Old Republic. Someone had made a controller preset so you could try and use a controller with it, and it just didn't work. There were nowhere near enough buttons, and it had the mouse was mapped to the right analog stick, which is just never fast enough.
Nope.
No, it just never worked. And like the only one that ever works in that example is like Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, because Final Fantasy is like was a console-ish game.
Yeah, it's I believe 14 is on consoles as well, and it's an MMO. Yeah. It's an MMO, but they specifically designed it so controllers can work with it. It's not trying to retrofit a keyboard and mouse control scheme onto a controller, because you just run out of buttons.
Yeah, you run out of buttons really, really fast on a controller if you think about it. But then I'm a pro gamer. I have 4 paddles on the back.
The elite gamer.
Yes, it's actually called the Xbox Elite 2 controller.
Yes. So with the other exclusives that we have, this is where the bias is somewhat gonna show, because
get your shot glasses out, boys.
Yes, because
and girls.
Comparing PlayStation to Xbox exclusives, well, I don't know what's a kind way to put that Xbox doesn't have any good exclusives left anymore. They used to, but especially nowadays, the well is pretty dried up.
And all the Xbox exclusives that are coming out otherwise are, but both of them are pretty much running on sequels for their exclusives. They're not making many new ones. Like a newer one for PS was Horizon Zero Dawn.
Which
is fantastic.
If we're comparing the two, the main exclusives that Xbox has had since the beginning and other ones that are still around are Halo, which Halo will always exist, it seems, whether
Master Chief won't die,
whether 343 can make a Halo game or not. Apparently Halo's there till the end. Same thing with Forza,
which is their Gran Turismo.
Yeah, but that's because Forza actually has the quality to back it up. Because from what I've seen, every new Forza game that comes out, people say, yup, this one's amazing too. Which, I mean, you can't complain with that when it's an annual franchise, but when it turns out good each time,
that just comes to question, how much do they change?
Yes. From what I know, since I still haven't actually played a Forza game, because when it comes to racing games, I'm really much more of a Burnout, Need for Speed kind of guy. I'm not really a
Burnout kid. Yeah.
Circuit realistic racer kind, which Forza has the Horizon games. But I more prefer like a progression system, which as far as I know, the Horizon games don't have. You just get a fast car immediately.
Yeah. One of the better games for like driving games for progression systems is like Need for Speed, I guess.
Need for Speed, they always do it. They start you with a rubbish car and then you have to rise up to get better ones.
You do races, you get stuff, you buy things, you upgrade your car. You put the work in basically to get a fast car to then race with.
And with Forza still sticking around, that's good because they keep making good games. Whereas one of the other exclusives that Microsoft has, Gears, that one, it's been a lot more rocky.
I have probably a split opinion for people on that one. Is Gears of War, I have kind of the term, it's like you can polish a turd, but it's still a turd.
Would you say all of Gears of War is like that? Or, look, like what, just the fourth one?
Like, I don't remember which one of them I thought was okay looking. But for most of them, it's like you can polish a turd, but it's still a turd.
From, again, full disclosure, I have never played a Gears game, but also this is a case where I would never want to.
Yeah.
Because
I've played very, very little. Like, I've seen most of what I know about Gears is what I've seen.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. It's just an art style and a world that's never interested me, and it's a third-person shooter, which I like, but they're not, like... I prefer more in one of the PlayStation series we're going to mention, when your characters are a lot more agile, and they can do rolls and dodges and stuff, whereas the Gears characters are always big, chunky dudes running around with their chainsaw.
Oh, teacher, I know what game you're talking about, being agile and rolling.
I know the answer.
Is it Uncharted?
Yes, it is Uncharted.
The best PlayStation exclusive.
Yes.
Beside some other game. Like, it's very difficult to rank them, but Uncharted is probably top 2. Easily.
Uncharted 2, one of the best games on the PS3. Yeah. That will... If you want to make another drinking game, that's it. How many times do we mention Uncharted 2 in one of these episodes?
Yeah, just watch the episodes back and see how many times we bring up Uncharted as like the benchmark for games.
Yeah, pretty much. Because it comes up basically every time. for good reason, because Uncharted 2 is fantastic. And I prefer it more to Gears because Mr. Nathan Drake, he can actually jump around and roll around and climb on stuff.
And it has an interesting story arc, and it has an interesting main character with interesting side characters.
Yeah, it's not just a bunch of meathead guys running around with chainsaw guns, ripping up monsters with their chainsaw guns.
I just think of it like it's just a bunch of heavies from Team Fortress 2 running around.
Yeah, it's like if you had an action figure of Heavy and you just slapped them together with a bunch of explosions and stuff. And like, okay, that's Gears.
Yeah, there you go. But also, Xbox has one of the worst gameplay experiences. If you don't like water gameplay, even sailing,
yeah,
or if you want a game that's all that, it's just Sea of Thieves for you, which is aptly enough one of the most popular games on Steam right now.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best sellers right now.
It's like someone played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and they were like, I don't really like this assassin stuff, part of Assassin's Creed. Let's just take the boat stuff and make that the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Before Ubisoft were then trying to do the same thing of Skull and Bones, which still isn't out.
It's only been in development hell for like 6 years.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 years, and it's the same. When they first showed the game and they show the game now, it looks exactly the damn same. So what the hell were they doing?
But hey, speaking on Assassin's Creed Mirage was announced, which takes more takes it more back to the assassin bit, and less the Viking-y stuff and all the other things.
It's more of an actual Assassin's Creed game than
it's set in what thing. Is it not set in Bahrain? I think.
I don't know where specifically.
It's like Bahrain, Beirut, something like that.
It's easily the most interested I've ever been in Assassin's Creed in the past since Revelations came out.
Oh, Revelation. That's like since the last 6 releases, 7 releases. Because there's been Syndicate, Rogue.
Yeah, I mean, like Unity I've wanted to play because I own it. But
Unity is okay. I finished it one time. Like just end story and didn't do any extra stuff.
Yeah, from what I've seen, Unity has interested me the most, but yeah, it's good to see they're finally going back to it, but also that with the whole open world RPG focus one, they're doing that with the Japan one. So they're not just ditching one for the other, they're keeping both camps.
Yeah. I'm excited that they're sticking with the open world stuff. But, let's go back to the roots a little bit of what Assassin's Creed is supposed to be.
Yeah. I got super hyped for it. That this is the last point I'll make about it.
Yeah.
That we'll go back to the exclusives. Is that when it was first being announced, the pitch for Assassin's Creed initially was a Prince of Persia game. That you were playing as the bodyguard of the prince when he's a little kid, and then you were going around like having to do assassinations and stuff. Then eventually it evolved into let's remove the prince and just make it its own thing, and then Assassin's Creed became a thing. When they were announcing Mirage, I thought, whoa, this looks a lot like Prince of Persia. Are they going to do the thing finally? No. But
still looks like a really good game.
It still looks pretty good.
Yeah. I'm excited to get it.
Do you notice we spent all that time talking about Assassin's Creed instead of Sea of Thieves? Because what is there to say?
Because Sea of Thieves is an unimportant game for people who don't like it.
They keep pumping content into that machine, but I've never seen anyone ever talking about it, and yet, as you pointed out, it's one of the most popular games out there.
It's one of the most popular games, but you don't see anyone talking about the game.
No.
It's just people play it. That's it. Like, it's not interesting enough for people to talk about it.
I follow a lot of gaming YouTubers where they talk about the games they're playing or games they're reviewing. None of them talk about Sea of Thieves, ever.
I've only ever seen some of the YouTubers talk about Sea of Thieves like 4 years ago.
Yeah, when it first came out. But now, people only ever reference Sea of Thieves when it's in comparison to Black Flag, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have one Xbox exclusive that I enjoy, and I have gone over this reason in the recent episode of Art Style.
Yes.
Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yes.
Not super enticing gameplay, but the art style is chef's kiss.
And by technicality, it's not an exclusive anymore.
Not anymore.
But it used to be when it first came out, because it's a Microsoft published game.
Yes.
Whereas, to go back into the point earlier from how the times have changed, nowadays you can get Ori on everything, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get it on PlayStation, but you can definitely get it on Steam. You can get it on the Switch.
Yep.
It's all there.
See, and our list of Xbox exclusives here, that's shorter than the PlayStation one.
Yeah, our Xbox One is pretty much a short list of games we haven't played.
Pretty much. Like I played Halo 3 one time. I say that with the utmost confidence. I played it for like an hour.
I was in a room once when people were playing Halo 1 on a PC. That's the most experience I have with it.
I'm still waiting for Xbox to make like a good adventure game exclusively from Microsoft. Because, hey, PlayStation, you know what you got? You got Uncharted, you got Horizon Zero Dawn, you got God of War.
You got Ratchet and Clank, you got The Last of Us, you got Infamous. Well,
it's
Infamous not so much anymore, but...
Not anymore, but it used to be. Infamous 2 is the cream of the crop.
Which, to the point, it can be seen as a detriment of a lot of the recent Sony output has been third-person action-adventure games, potentially running around with a kid. But...
Boy.
Yeah, replace boy with girl, and then you got Last of Us.
I still have yet to play God of War Ragnarok.
Which, because it is coming out soon, I believe.
Didn't it come out?
No, it's not out yet. It's coming out.
Yet, okay. It's coming out very soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which people are very hyped for. You can make the point that, they're all kind of similar, but...
Oh, November 9th.
Yeah. PlayStation always holds like a bar of quality to their releases. Like, I can't think of a PlayStation exclusive that I can say has been, like, rushed or sloppy or filled with bugs.
Because, like, I remember when they announced the God of War reboot, or reboot, yes, let's call it. It's a reboot. I don't know where I got the remake from. But people were like, because there was a hardcore God of War fan base, myself included. I'm very big on the game. And then when people played it, it's like they knocked it like 10 home runs out of the park with that game.
Yeah.
Which you can't say for Xbox exclusives. Take a shot.
Do it now, yeah. The one other if you wanna make it a drinking game or you wanna make it bingo, if it's us trashing Xbox, it's us mentioning Uncharted 2, and then it's mentioning another PlayStation exclusive, which is Little Big Planet.
Little sack boy.
The amount of emotional weight that Little Big Planet has for the both of us is astronomical, which is why we hold it up as one of the best exclusives, even though they're not making any Little Big Planet games anymore.
They only recently made the Sackboy Adventure.
They did the Sackboy Adventure, which
level-based, just run through the level game. It's not like an online game where you make levels and stuff like that.
Yeah, that evolved into Dreams instead.
Yeah, which is sadness.
Yeah, but it's the classic phrase of it's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yeah. And we had many hundreds hours of journey.
Yes, I'm happy we even got Little Big Planet 1 and 2, because those are some of the best games on the PS3, and just best games ever, pretty much. They're pretty damn good.
we played the ever living shit out of Little Big Planet 2.
Yep.
Community levels specifically.
Yeah, which is especially sad now that you can't access the servers anymore.
Thanks, Sony.
Well, more thanks to the hackers who hacked it and made them shut it down.
Yeah, that's really annoying. Because I had just found my Little Big Planet 2 disc and I had my PS3, so I was ready to get on it, and then like a week before that, then you told me like they shut down the servers. It's like, oh.
Yep. Which that it is a case of it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, but it's still so sad that the Little Big Planet 1 and 2, they're half of the game they used to be, if even that.
Yeah. Because
the online games and levels were so much of its identity, and now you just can't access them at all.
Like, there is... I don't even know if Little Big Planet 3 still has an online community, but it's not the same.
Yeah. Because they added in all those other characters and stuff.
I tried to make something work in Little Big Planet 3. Some of the levels are okay, because I searched for our tried and true archetypes.
The bomb survival, yeah.
Yes, and there were, like, I found, like, one good one, but it was still, like, kind of iffy.
Yeah. From what I've seen, Dreams is supposed to be really damn good, but that is a case of an exclusive that so far has remained a true exclusive. Because with Xbox trailblazing into, okay, we will release our games on PC as well, thankfully it then influenced Sony to do the same thing, where they've slowly been releasing their games on PC, like Horizon and God of War and Spider-Man recently, but it's not enough. It's not enough for me. Like, I still want Shadow of the Colossus, the remake they did, that to come to PC, but that's still locked there. Demon Souls, that's locked. Dreams, that's locked.
Yeah.
This is one of the rare times I'll bitch about Sony is that just give me more of those PC carries over of exclusives, because what they've been doing so far is good because they've actually been paying a lot of attention to the exclusives, but it's give me more, please.
Yeah, I think the platform that probably has the most exclusives is PC, but no one knows about them.
Yeah, it depends how technical you want to get into it. If it's like games on itch.io, then
I'm more like just some Steam games are just Steam games for publishers. Like they haven't ported it over to consoles, and there's a fuckload of those. But you know, a lot of PC games now are console. The popular ones are on console, pretty much, and the popular console games have gone to PC, except for Little Big Planet. You know, they could make a Little Big Planet. They could just pop Little Big Planet 1 and 2 on Steam and just give an online community on Steam.
Oh, dude,
they had to workshop.
Yeah. If you opened it up to modding and stuff, that is...
Imagine this.
Yeah, that...
Oh my god.
I don't want to imagine it because it makes me mad because of how good that would be. And we're never going to get that.
Nope.
Like, maybe we'll get the Big Adventure on PC at some point. Maybe. But...
Probably, maybe.
Yeah, but, if it was like Little Big Planet 2 and the servers are up again and we have modding support in it, dude, that is...
Yeah. Right. That's a sad idea because it'll never happen.
Yeah, the final point, which doesn't have much more to say, is that with Nintendo exclusives, as we've already pointed out, the lockdown, they're going to keep being locked down.
Yeah, they're
any Mario game, Mario Party, Smash Bros, Metroid, Pikmin, all of their franchises, they're Nintendo only.
Yeah.
That's how you access them.
Yeah, they are never going to port theirs over to any other platform.
They may port them over to their future console, but never another platform.
They will never divert from their own consoles, basically.
they're a lot more accepting of like Microsoft games coming to the Switch, so like Ori and Minecraft and stuff, but it never goes the other way around.
They'll happily take on host games, basically, so they can take a cut of the proceedings.
Yep.
But they will never port theirs over.
Because they know the weight of their IP, they can do it.
Yes.
They still see PC and stuff the same way that the console makers did like 10 years ago, where PC's the weird thing. Why would you want to play a Nintendo game on a PC?
Yeah, but because, I don't know. It's Nintendo, they got their guns and they sticking to them and they're never wavering. Because it's like, hey, play Super Mario, buy a Nintendo. That's your only option, other than if you get a ROM and an emulator.
That
which
mindset.
We don't condone.
We do not. You wouldn't download a car, would you? That it can be seen as good and bad with how much they stick to those guns, because it means that IP does have a lot more weight, but it's also frustrating because then they shut down like fan games and stuff when it's like those are the people you want to keep around because they're making this stuff because they're big fans of your stuff, and then you just shut them down. I guess
I don't get the fan game shutdown situation for them. There are some that live on the internet somewhere.
Oh, that you can still find them wherever.
You still have the Impossible Mario game, which is just... Isn't that Paper Mario?
No.
Or is Paper Mario another one?
Paper Mario is an actual Nintendo game.
Yeah, no, the Impossible Mario game that I remember is like where spikes come out of the boxes and all that stuff. And
I think it is just called the Impossible Mario game or something close to that.
Because that's a browser game.
Whereas then, like Sega, they're fully open to fan games. So much so that they hired the people to make Sonic Mania an official Sonic game. Like, could you ever imagine Nintendo doing that?
No. It wasn't our idea, it ain't real.
The closest they've ever gotten is like with Zelda. They had the Crypt of the Necrodancer people make a Zelda game, which was still pretty big because it's an indie studio, got one of Nintendo's IP, but they haven't done it again. And it's not like they're condoning fan games anytime soon.
No. And like obviously Nintendo has its things like that are from other developments, which is like Game Freak with Pokemon.
Yeah,
Game Freak only sells theirs on Nintendo. Because in Game Freak's case, they can outsource to other companies. Nintendo does not outsource to any other companies other than them fucking selves.
Whether Game Freak outsources whether they should or whether they shouldn't.
Again, I went over this in several episodes actually. I've gone over why I hate them outsourcing the remasters to ILCA. So there's an Easter egg hunt for you guys. Go and find where I talk about Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
With the overall discussion point of these PC versus console exclusives, the main point would be necessity. How necessary were exclusives, and do they still need to exist at all?
Like, did exclusives need to exist like back, with the old when consoles were the main thing? Yes, because that was their competition selling point.
Yeah,
it's like, buy our console because we have such and such games that you cannot get on another console. Like that was their competitive standpoint. Exclusives, but with PC being probably the most popular platform to play on now, it doesn't really make any sense anymore to be exclusive. Because you just sell your games on there.
It does still make somewhat sense for the two consoles to still have exclusives. Yeah. Because
to have the games be exclusive to just the console makes no sense.
Yeah. The PC, all it offers is more revenue.
Yeah. Oh no, it offers you more revenue and a bigger chance to generate more fans for your certain exclusive games or games. It's like win-win.
If you have a game that, say, God of War, if God of War was suddenly on Xbox as well, then yeah, that would cause a big dip in how many people are buying God of War on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But with God of War being on PC, you can still guarantee that Ragnarok, when it comes out, is going to be one of the best PS5 selling games out there.
Yeah. It's going to rocket up, that game.
Mm-hmm.
And within reason, yes, it is going to. And like, I get the consoles not merging, but keeping anything off PC doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, at this point, which, like, with Nintendo, I don't think their mindset is ever going to change.
No.
It seems like they are just set.
It's pretty late in the game now to be like, okay, we will change now. I mean, it's never too late, obviously, but
yeah, exactly.
Set now.
It's never too late, but
Nintendo's is the only road that does not lead to Rome.
Yes, their road leads to somewhere else instead.
Their road leads to somewhere else in Italy.
Their road leads to Greece instead.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So, are exclusives necessary? Yes and no. Depending on which standpoint you're looking at it from. Console wise, yes. To PC, no.
The one other discussion question I'd have then is, do you think that exclusives diminish the strength of like an IP or a game? Like, has there ever been an instance for you that when you saw a game that used to be an exclusive then came to be multi-platform is like, no, that's less special now?
No, it's never really done that for me. Like, for me, the only times that would be a thing is like for like Uncharted. For me, Uncharted is a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
And like, since it came to PC, it doesn't really matter to me. But if it went to Xbox, I'd be like, feels less special back then. Now it's just been diminished from.
Yeah.
But other than the big games that I used to that I played on the PlayStation because it was on the PlayStation, and I played on the PlayStation for said games, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it would kind of diminish that, but now at this point I don't really mind anymore because I don't play consoles.
Yeah, that's pretty much my mindset as well. In that, for games that have been exclusives, like Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Metal Gear, for the longest time, it was a Sony only franchise. So much so that it referenced being on the PS2 or the PS3 in the game itself. It was that hardwired in. Metal Gear is a Sony thing, and yet then with Revengeance and then with MGS5, it came to the PC and it came to the Xbox. And there was a part of me that was like, oh, Metal Gear is not as special anymore because now you can get it on anything. But then I just realized that, well, more people playing it is a good thing.
Because that'll entice them to make more Metal Gear games, basically.
Yeah, which they're not.
No.
Because Konami.
Because sadness.
It's always good to have choices and options no matter what. It can diminish, oh no, my franchise doesn't feel as special anymore. But who cares? Because more people get to play it.
Because for me, it's like, also why I don't care is, like you said, like, the more places it's on, the more revenue it generates, which, again, this is the shareholder table standpoint, is that, hey, this made a lot of money. Let's do that again. And if
you see this chart that shows big money line, we do money line again.
You see this chart that's like green line money, and it's like green line money. Let's do that again. They just hold up a fucking poster card with a $sign on it. Let's do this again.
This is when the game released on console, and then this is when we released it on PC. Let's do that again.
Did your camera freeze up?
Oh, has it?
We're back, maybe? No? Froze a little bit. There you go. You're back.
You're back. Cool. It's been fine from my side, at least.
You were just like... You were just sitting like
mimicking the chart. I will be mimicking a chart forever.
Yes.
I don't know. Are there any other big discussion topics you could think of for exclusives? Because
no, basically PC is Rome, where all the roads should lead to. Nintendo is that little weird city in Greece that just decided to do a little thing, and consoles should be exclusive to each other for games. But if they bleed over, it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
Because more people that play it, the more chance you get more from that franchise because money.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much the sum up here.
Yeah, I can't think of any other points to add, and at this point, whenever I see people getting mad about a franchise coming to another console or something, like most happened recently with Yakuza. Yakuza used to be a PlayStation franchise, but then it went multi-platform. Yeah. And then people were saying, no, Yakuza isn't as special of a franchise anymore.
These are loyalists because they probably play console only. Yeah.
Like people who play PC more people having the option is good, because then you'll potentially get more of the game, and even if you don't get more, you get more fans of it. So it means a greater discussion, and potentially from that discussion it breeds future indie devs who get inspired from that game, and then launching off into more.
Basically, the more popularity a game gets, the more it gets talked about, the more it gets developed on from another side of from another point of view, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And
basically, you could get a new game with a skeleton of a game you used to love. And because, it's a skeleton of a game you loved, then you'll probably like the game they made, depending on art style and gameplay and other things.
But if it was locked to a console exclusive that you never got to play, then you never would have had that inspiration or anything.
Nope.
Yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps up this one. What are you guys' favorite console exclusives, if you have any?
And do you rag on Xbox? Do you rag on Microsoft or Sony? If you rag on Sony, don't comment.
You are not allowed here. If you download a car, you're not allowed here either, because I got my eye on you.
I don't want no bills getting up in here. No Gateses.
Well, I guess thank you very much for watching this episode. Leave any comments you'd like to leave down in the comment box below, and thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.